I am very excited about our next guest. I'm excited about all our guests, but our next guest in particular, it's the very first time in 18,000 guests I've ever talked to a miller. With us now is Greg, and we're talking about a mill. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Great. It's good to be here.
We got a chance to visit on the phone. I believe I was at the St. Louis Zoo with my family, and I was walking around the zoo, and we were talking on the phone, and I'm amazed at your journey. You were someone that just, started out in agriculture, and then you went to, I want to say aviary, birds, learning about birds, and then you became a miller because you got to mentor under who? Who was someone that taught you about milling?
A near and dear friend, Mr. Jack Brock, which has since passed, but in that process of mentoring, I didn't know I was learning anything. It was just being able to hang out with a friend, and over time, people made me realize that I guess mills aren't coming back into vogue. So it was just something that I had, and as I progressed through agriculture, I had an opportunity to kind of realize I was holding some things that most people don't know.
Yes. And also it's about the flavor, right? It says the goodness inside. So what is it that you're producing? What's happening at this mill? And it's actually called Marsh Hen Mill.
Yeah, so we're hidden down on one of the little sea islands, and pretty blessed that over time, a lot of James Beard winners and Michelin 3-star restaurants began to pick up our product, and they're really the ones spreading the message. But what we're doing is, with the flavors, we are trying to hold so many flavors that have gone by the wayside. Carolina Gold, which is sitting in a bag in our ugly duckling bag on purpose, the brown, because it was 1685, and it's one of the most aromatic, most beautiful things you can smell out. It smells like a bowl of popcorn if you're standing in the field right before harvest. So my goal is to create the flavors again for people, but also restore kind of the part of agriculture that's missing.
Beautiful. Being in low country, right? What is low country known for?
I'm from the upstate, kind of the foothills mountains, and I married a little girl right after college, and I remember going over the first little humpback bridge and smelling the marsh, and she rolled down the window and she said, "Do you smell that?" And I was like, "It's the most disgusting, terrible smell, but it's home. It's home. It's that marsh and that salt water encompasses so much, and the growing season and the people that are there share so many treasures that we're trying to maintain. It's quite a different way of life on the coast than most people are used to."
You have a shop, right? That is a destination in itself.
Yeah,
right. So who do you see come through there? Tourists and all types of people, right?
Yeah, it's funny. It was started just when we were the family started in commercial tomatoes, and it was just to get rid of the red tomatoes because you can't sell when you're shipping tomatoes, red tomatoes back in the day, and that whole industry has gone away, and that's what's really catapulted the mill to what it is people went to find us from tourists to just come out to see what we were doing.
Yeah. So tell us about these. Tell us about the different, it's grains. Would you call it grains?
Yeah, it's all heirloom grains. There's a lot of products. My history is grits, cornmeal, meaning in the corn family. They're flint corns. They're not typical, like people think of corns like sweet corn. Sweet corn was really only invented in the 1950s. I'm playing in the early to late 1800s. So it's keeping seed. We have seed in vaults, and we're trying to maintain for the U.S. a lot of things that are going away. So in that rotation, just a quick explanation is like rice doesn't like nitrogen well, and corn does. So we have to rotate through the crops different to help the soil type. It's a biodynamic kind of way of farming that each crop helps next. Rye generates nitrogen, peas generate nitrogen. So a lot of what we grow, we don't even actually harvest. We put back in the ground to help the ground. So and then put a totally different spin that maybe you're not thinking about when you say, we're 6 feet above flood. We get hurricane after hurricane and ruins these crops. So, I've had to extend this to so many farmers to help as we've grown to make sure we can make these crops. Speaking
of that, how were you impacted, or how were the farms impacted by the storms that came through?
Oh, I mean, I'll put it to you like this. My father-in-law, when he was alive, told me this. He said, "Son," I said, "I'm ready to start farming basically on my own instead of under you." And he said, "Well, get ready to get on your knees and thank God for a total loss." And I said, "Sir, I'm not ready." He said, "Well, then you're not ready to farm," because he had a hailstorm knock out all his tomatoes in less than 10 minutes. For me, I had 3 hurricanes back to back 3 years where it knocked out 60, 80%. I thought I'd move it inland the next year with a farmer, and they had a tornado that took out the crop. So, you know, we lose things all the time, but we're very blessed with what we have. So we try to spread out, get enough in rotation, but also different farmers multiplying it so we can make sure that we don't lose. There is nowhere to buy the seed I work with. We generate the seed and we work through, and these are open pollinated. So what we do wouldn't work in the West where there's a lot of competition. So there's a lot of benefits to the islands we could talk forever on.
And if you want the taste of this, you got to get it here.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
and
It's about the flavor. Like you said, a lot of Michelin chefs and other people, you know, cooks.
Yeah, it's we can't tell the story. We're busy in the fields, we're busy doing things, and they're the ones spreading the word. And they're the ones coming up with thoughts and ideas I would never even use these products for.
Yeah, right?
Right.
It's actually fascinating. Also, you have a psalm on it, right?
Yeah.
And what is the meaning behind that?
Well, Psalm 91:4 for me personally is we're under the wing and protection of God. So, you know, I studied birds, so it's a lot there of my upbringing, but we've gone through so many storms as a business, and I've lost so much, not just to physical storms, but we went through a name change when people felt we were doing things not right, and we wanted to honor every single person. These crops that we grow, there is so many terrible stories wrapped up as much as good stories of how people worked the crop, and we're trying to make sure that we can tell the whole story and be part of the narrative, that we can make the changes, but it's preserving, holding hands with anybody before that went through this process to understand why the flavors are there and make sure we can keep them alive for future generations.
You're honoring it.
We're trying it the best
Yeah.
we can. I mean, it's a day in, day out process, and it's so exciting to meet people that can help us understand the initiative. I mean, it has to be flavor for you to enjoy, but it has to have, the stories are amazing to hear what people have been through, and we want to help in it.
Congratulations. I appreciate you so much for coming up here. You know, I'm hoping I'm going to come down to you, right? What's the one piece of, I guess, advice that you'd want someone to know about the fact that you're like dedicated to the process of this?
Well, I think as any farmer or anybody in that industry, what the downside is, you know, I might have a touch of ADD or OCD. I don't stop, but I don't think that's far from the idea of what farming is that it's not a job, it's our life. And just anybody can take the time to thank in their local community a farmer and understand what we have to do and why we stay up at night, you know, and what we're trying to do. So I just appreciate the opportunity, and we can't spread this word and the idea by ourselves. So just wanted to say thank you for letting us have a chance to, you know, get the product out.
You're welcome. I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, but all of my ancestors on my mom's side were all from Illinois, and they were all farmers, and you know, it matters to me, like the heartland, right? I'm from the heartland. So thank you very, very much, and blessings from our family to your family, and to all the people that get to enjoy the products. So
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And they have like recipes, like, so if you don't know how to use something, you want to try something, it's easy to research.
They're trying to
So-
make us modern. We're putting QR codes on the bag so you can go to recipes and get suggestions. And we ask even customers their best ideas so we can also see what's out there, and chefs.
I'm in the mood for some cornbread right now.
Me
Yes?
too.
Me too. Give me some good cornbread. Thank you so much for watching. Please go to their website. You can order items online. I really think that you're going to be happy about this purchase. Be well.